This past week, we held a training session for our covenant keepers who will be helping beginning October the 4th as we launch our next step in in-person worship. During October, many of our covenant keepers are also part of our trustees, and the step we'll be taking next Sunday represents the culmination of months of their work, ordering supplies, waiting for them to arrive, making contingency plans, and trying to think of every detail so we don't put anyone in danger. I want to let you all know how hard they've worked over the past several months to put this all together and to lead us every step of the way. I'm so thankful for all they've done to get us this far. We learned a lot as we went to our outdoor service, and we're going to be applying those things to our indoor service as we launch it on October the 4th. So here's a quick overview of the new indoor in-person service. Worship will start at 9 a.m. Now this will allow me to be in the chat room here on YouTube at 10:30. You can register for the 9 o'clock service at cometoworship.org, spelled out all one word. It's really easy to remember, and I want to thank Craig Pritz for purchasing the domain name for us. I'm really surprised that that domain name, that website, was actually open, but it is, and we took it. So it is a part of our service now, cometoworship.org. Now, masks covering the mouth and nose, as well as social distancing, are required for the entire service at 9 o'clock. Contrary to what we're all used to, we won't be entering into the hallway doors, but through the narthex doors on the portico. Those doors are the ones that face the fellowship hall. You'll get a temperature check and get signed in for each person in your party, and then you'll enter the narthex. I want to mention something briefly about parking while we're talking about the new traffic flow. Since we're entering in those narthex doors, we ask that you save the parking between the fellowship hall and the courtyard for visitors and those with mobility challenges so they can be closer to the entrance and the exit as we worship together. Just remember, those common courtesies as we all try to get used to this new way of doing things. As a part of the training we held, we wanted to film a guide for you so you could see things in action as they would probably happen on a Sunday morning. Now, the camera work is great, and I think we have someone with some real natural talent running the camera. The guy leading the tour, though, I'm not so sure about him, and, we just did the best we could with what we had. I'm going to do my best impression of my mom now and ask you all to ignore the mess that you see here and there in the sanctuary and the narthex. We've still got things set out for the outdoor service that we had today, and we have to move a few things before we begin worship next Sunday. But I think regardless of all that, you'll get the idea. So I hope the next video is informative and helpful as we begin this exciting next step in worship next Sunday. We thought we would do a little walkthrough for what you can expect on Sunday morning when we start our in-person worship service on October the 4th. That's next Sunday. We're so excited about this, although we do wish we could all just go back to normal. The guiding principle of our whole church response to COVID-19 has been the first of the 3 general rules of the Methodist Church, to do no harm. It's the same reason that we don't have wine at communion. There might be some of us who that might actually do some harm to. For most of us, would not be a problem, but we don't want to do harm to each other. So I want to do a little walkthrough with you. I'll be your tour guide as we go through, and I want to thank all of our covenant keepers that'll be serving during October and beyond. You'll get to see what their job is. We could use those volunteers as we go through doing this service. And you'll also see some of the things they do and some of the ways that you can come in and worship with us on Sunday morning in person here at the church. The first thing is to make sure that you're registered. You can go to our website and register there, enter in your name and the amount of people in your party, and you will be on the registration sheet so that they can take your temperature here in a minute. And I will show you what to do then. So as you come into the sanctuary building, you'll see our helpers for Sunday morning. We're calling them covenant keepers because they're helping us all keep that covenant to do no harm to each other as we worship. And why don't you come in with me?
Good morning, Pastor Robert. Welcome to St. Paul.
Good morning, Rob. How are you? So Rob is the first of the second set of our covenant keepers. And what Rob's going to do is take my temperature as I come into worship. Larry here is going to make sure I'm registered, and he's going to also write down my temperature. This is going to be used for contact tracing purposes. In the unlikely, hopefully unlikely event that we have anyone that is COVID positive, and that way we can use your temperature for contact tracing purposes if the health department has to need them during that time. But once again, we hope that that is not the case. So as I'm coming into worship, Rob will take my temperature.
95.9.
All right. Thank you guys very much. And so what I'll do next is just walk in. Now that I've been checked in with my temperature and the registration system, I will then walk into the sanctuary. So come on in. Good morning, everybody. Now we're asking everyone to come in these narthex doors that you see facing the fellowship hall. And this will help us social distance, and it'll also mean that we don't have to walk into each other along these narrow hallways to either side. We're going to keep those things as non-crowded as possible and ask that you just use these narthex doors for entrance and exit out after church. So part of what we're going to do is you'll enter these doors, and the covenant keepers will meet you. How are you guys doing today? How are you? Wonderful. All right, so
let me get a little spray in your hands just to make sure they're nice and clean.
Right. And then for Communion Sundays, we'll also be handing me communion. Thank you very much. And then we'll continue to social distance as we walk down into the pew. We'll be entering into the center doors of the sanctuary, and we're going to exit along the side set of double doors. That'll make sure that we don't have any crosswalking in front of each other, and we can keep social distance a little easier. So follow me.
Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Jim. How's it going?
All right. Follow me.
All right. So
when you go past the pole, you'll pick the pole up with you.
All right. Thank you very much. So the covenant keepers will point you to your seat so that we make sure everybody stays at the same distance apart. And we also have these nifty 6-foot social distancing poles that we're asking everyone to use so that you can social distance between you and the party that comes in after you on the same pew. So just like Jim said, I'm going to take this social distancing pole, carry it with me. And when I sit down, I'm going to use it to make sure that I'm socially distanced from the people that come in after me. So the next set of people will come in and they will sit right here on the other side of this elbow of the pew. And so as we exit, now that we're sitting down, we're going to enjoy worship. And then when we exit, what we're going to do is we will exit through these outside rows. So as you see, you'll be going out this way and around this section of pews, and then you'll exit, as I said before, out those side set of double doors, and they're open right now that you can see them. So those will be the doors that you exit from, and you'll continue to go out the narthex doors. So thank you very much for being a part of this tour guide and being a part of learning how to do worship in this new sort of way. Like I said, we all wish that we could get back to normal, but we're not quite there yet. And we want to make sure we keep everybody safe so that while COVID-19 is still out there, that we are making sure we do no harm to anyone in our congregation. So thank you, and now back to the service.